It's
9
bloody
a.m.
it's
in the
bloody
morning.
9:15 in the morning.
And it's bloody 35 out there at the moment. I'm like, well,
And
and I've
that's
got
in
the aircon
Celsius. For
on, so, woo,
Americans, that's Celsius because America's still Fahrenheit. So I'm
yes.
putting this thing on here in a beautiful starlit night with the planets aligning here in Devizes in Wiltshire, home of the crop circles. And the English Civil War. And Charles I came here, he lost the war, and Oliver Cromwell came down to Devizes Castle and tore it down. So this is the Civil War time. So, God Almighty. And this is a serious thing. Now, Dolly, you're voice activated, so you'll only be on when you speak. So when you're not speaking, be quiet. Okay, Nikki?
Yes, Miles.
Part
Yeah.
4, and Dolly in England. You know, I had all these wonderful pictures of you all done up in this fancy sort of costumes and stuff, but you're not wearing them. You're actually in your costume cupboard, aren't you?
I, I'm not going
Yeah.
to answer that, Miles.
So
I am in a closet. Yeah, I'm in a bit of a cold
Hmm.
closet in England. It's not as warm as where you are, Nikki.
Oh, it's
Really?
bloody boiling, honestly. Do you wear thermal underwear and all that kind of stuff? And in the
Yeah,
house, you got all that on,
yeah,
yeah.
yeah,
Yeah.
yeah.
Nikki,
Socks,
So
no,
what
this
is
is
bloody.
it?
wrong. Nikki, it's wrong. It's wrong and dead wrong. It's very simple. The weather always changes here. We're on a bloody island here, which is the East Ireland Isles. In Ireland, they complain all the time, and every time the sun comes out, they take their shirts off and run into the sun and get a Guinness tan. That was a bad joke. It cracked the last time.
Oh, no, white and pasty.
Yes, absolutely. And what they do is they never wear the right clothing in England, so or Ireland or Scotland or Wales, and they always complain about the weather, but they never wear the right clothing. There's no such
Oh, that's
thing as bad weather. It's just bad clothing.
changes.
Right.
That's like
Where
Melbourne, where they say to you in Melbourne, they say, if you don't like the weather, wait a minute. And you have to wear layers because it changes. In one day, you could go from, spring, summer, autumn, winter, so you have to take them on. That's at the bottom of Australia. Up here, it's just bloody hot. So I've got a bit of an idea what it's like to live in the cold. That's why I came back here
no,
because I
it's
just
not
got
cold.
tired of the
It's the
cold.
wet cold, the freezing wet cold, just hovering
Yeah.
above 0 Celsius. So it's bad enough to
Oh,
sort
the
of
wind
cause
hitting your
bodily
bones.
injury and harm.
Yeah, wind hitting your bones is like bone chilling down there. So I got sick of it and I came back home up here.
So I'm just going to say something here. I'm going to say something very seriously, and I'm going to
Hmm.
say, Nikki and Dolly, welcome to Bases 131, Part 4. Take it away.
Right. Okay. Well, the reason why we're here today is because Dolly and I have experienced very similar experiences when it comes to the paranormal and ET annoyance intervention or dicking around with our lives. Uh, Kind of like psychological kind of warfare um, with our
It's
experiences,
easy for
and
you to
also,
say, Nikki.
huh?
Easy for you to say.
Well, when we've talked, things have been correlated. Like when she was talking about, ETs are just dicking around with my life. That really resonated with me. And I thought, they are. I mean, especially if you've done something with the MyLab thing that you asked the other day, Miles, I forgot to say that when you talk about like, how do you know that this is kind of happening to you? It's like, well, when something goes wrong and when multiple things go wrong in a short span of time, you have to ask yourself, do I really have that much bad luck? Right? And then it's not until later that you realize that all these bad luck incidences and theatre happening in your house, has all been constructed, right? To try and get you into thinking it's like nasty ETs out there. Now I'm not going to say that there aren't any nasty ETs out there, because there are. In my experience, there are. However, I haven't experienced nasty ETs. I've experienced nasty humans pretending. So that psychological warfare was really confusing to me, and I didn't find out until much later when I went to Misha and had a regression, and I found out what my lab was, right? So that kind of when I started to talk to Dolly about her experiences, they were really, really similar. And she comes from the Magdalene French bloodline. I went, wow, okay, that's my bloodline too. And then I don't know, we just have similar experiences, and I just wanted to share that. So do you want to take that up, Dolly, with some stuff that you've had?
Oh, I've had so many experiences throughout my whole general life, I think. When I look back now, it seems as though some kind of hand has always steered me into the direction.
Yeah.
Sometimes I felt I've been in places and I don't really want to be there. And I've kind of gone with the flow and gone with the flow of it. And we're very similar. We use our gifts. We're aware of our gifts and our psychic abilities. And there's a lot more coming out now in the public eye about people like us. There's a lot more of us out there. I do believe everybody has got that psychic ability to tune in and experience life on the paranormal, whichever level it will come to them, whether it be through my lab experiences with your life being totally messed with and played around by, sometimes different agencies, people, triggers, sometimes ET factors, sometimes good, sometimes not so good. I think it all plays out throughout our lives, and we just join the dots as we kind of go along through our journey of connecting more with consciousness, which is what our achievement and our goal is here as a starseed for us to do, and connect with others. So we're playing a role in many hands and many experiences, and connecting and correlating with people along the way, such as me and you. We've known each other, what, years?
Yeah.
How many years? Like
Over 10,
10?
15,
I
about
forget.
10, 15.
It's been a long, long time, and
It has.
we've always connected and correlated with similar life experiences and similar bloodline experiences. So there's a connection.
Absolutely. And it's okay to come out now, guys. I know a lot of us have been burnt at the stake, so we're a bit worried about coming out. I know, you know what I mean? It's like you can come out now, guys. It's kind of safe to come out and start expressing your inner psychic abilities now. Let's start playing around with it. Let's have fun with it now instead of it being so, woo-woo and stuff, because it's part of our natural abilities that have been taken away from us.
Ooh.
And this is all about self empowerment, right? And I also think this has got a lot to do with the ships hanging out in the skies too. They're just hanging there going, it's all about self empowerment. Now it's about asking questions, taking photos, all that kind of stuff. So I think we're in for a real bloody rocky ride with the bloody popcorn. That's for sure. It's going to be. There will be a time, I think, where there'll be a critical mass where our starseeds will be really busy, because everyone will start coming to us and going, hey, you're not. I look at you differently now, because what I thought you said years ago is actually unfolding, coming true.
It's happening.
It's happening now, and it's there, and people are living that experience, and so that kind of demand for people like us. And I'm grateful that Miles has given us a platform to talk about all this stuff, because all of us, well, I don't know about you guys, but I know I've been heavily shadow banned and stuff like that. And it's just like, well, where do I go to have free speech about these kind of subjects, which are, what Miles said, forbidden. I went, wow, that's, that's a word. I forgot about that one. But that needs to all come out. You know, we all need to start connecting a little bit more, but don't be afraid to come out and talk about our experiences. And, you know, because then once you do, you connect with people that have gone through the same things, and then we can be more self-empowered and find out what's really going on, because there's so much confusion and redirection and so many things happening all at once at the moment. We got a whole bunch of, you know, we've got all the solar eclipses coming up at the moment. We got all the moon eclipses. They're going to be really powerful, shaking some stuff up. So it's like, hang on, guys, hang on, and get your popcorn out and
We've got a
roll.
planetary alignment on my birthday. It's Friday. It's on my birthday. A planetary alignment. Eh?
Oh,
It is. It will be my full. It will be
wow,
my birthday. Yes,
lovely.
I'm a true Isis goddess baby. Let's
Lovely.
say born of that time.
Yeah,
Yeah.
that's lovely, darling. Woohoo.
Woohoo! Celebration.
That's very powerful. You'll have a lot of
It
powerful
is.
energy to do whatever you need to do. I think we've had a few retrogrades holding us back now. So once March comes around, it'll be like just moving forward. So yeah, it's just been a ride with, you know, God, when I spoke to Miles the other day, I was talking about all these things kept popping up, and one of the ones was I can't remember if I asked you if you had any. Do you have any mylar marks? Do you have any marks on your body, Dolly, from any strange thingos?
I've got Miles just actually tested me with a little zapper thing that he's got, and
Oh,
it was quite interesting. He went around his local pub showing everybody that we went off the radar. It was quite interesting, actually. And I've got a little, I don't know if you can see it in this camera. I've got a little something in my wrist. There, you can see it. See, like
oh,
Yeah,
little
we can just
white
about see that.
chip.
And I had something similar.
yes,
Yeah,
I
it's like a
can.
little white chip.
Yes, I
See it?
can. Yep,
And
yeah.
yeah, and it made a funny beeping. I went off the
Yeah.
radar,
Well,
and
that was when
Miles
we
was quite,
did with
yeah,
yourself and your former partner,
partner, yes,
Dolly.
yes.
And he was off the scale and you were off the scale.
Yeah, we were off the scale, and Miles was quite amazed of like, how can these two people be totally off the scale?
Wow.
But I wasn't surprised, you
Yeah.
know, over the experiences that I've had over the years with meeting. Now we call them non-human intelligence is the new word that we're using. Which I think is fabulous because it's fine.
Yeah, the point about that is it means that we're not necessarily talking about aliens outside.
Yeah.
Oh, and the echo.
You said the magic words, Miles.
Okay.
And you tripped them all off.
I wish I could get this to. Anyway, you keep going.
We mentioned non-human intelligence, and it zipped right off there. And that can be literally anything, any source of what is non-human intelligence. Because some of the beings that I've seen, some of them have looked very, very real, as in people like you or I, but they've been a little bit different with their features, as in eyes, skin tone, skin color, or being extremely tall or telepathically communicating, and they've come up with a word now for this called psionics, I think it is. Yeah,
It's actually quite an old term, but it's as we did a bit of an explanation on that with Penny Bradley, and there's a professor Simon who decided to sort of weaponize it and sort of make it really, really scary. So he's up in Scotland allegedly, but he's actually lives in France just to confuse things.
So what is the clarification of psionics? Because that sounds like remote viewing. Is it?
It's meant to be an application. I've always taken it in the modern era as the application of psychic phenomena, psychic powers, so-called psychic powers, with
Okay.
technology. But it is an older
Right.
term. It goes back quite some time.
Yeah.
Right.
And
Okay.
I've had this, you know, it took me a long time to realise what was going on with electronics. And have we lost Nikki?
No, I'm here.
Oh, you're there. It took me
Okay.
a long time to figure out what was going on with the electrical things in my house, and
Yeah.
then communicating with non-human intelligences, such as being a little bit like describing it as a conduit.
Yeah.
Like, I don't like to use the word channeling.
No,
I've
either
never
do
liked
I.
it's never
Well, it's like letting
that.
someone take over your body. You can't do that.
Yeah.
It's a mild condition. We can't do that.
No, it's not that. It's more like tapping into an information of source, and that's the best way that I can describe it. And I have been contacted by certain people that have asked me if I could have been part of a group where they could have studied me, a group of students, and I said no, I didn't want to do that. A certain three-letter organisation contacted. Well,
yeah.
you know, we'll it could be, you know, but some strange people contacted me and was connected way back. They mentioned Ingo Swan.
Okay.
And it was a little bit of a something that had spun off from them, and it was a group of students. I was approached, I was asked, could a group of sorry, could a group of students study me? And I said, absolutely not. No.
Well, you're not a lab rat.
No, exactly. I'm not, you know, about to sit there and share my thoughts remote viewing. And it just felt totally invasive. And, you know, I've had a couple of strange experiences after that with people contacted me for information and certain things. And I think that's what it's about, is the knowledge that we hold and can share and tap into. And it's been suppressed for so long that people like us get kind of hunted down, harassed, played with, manipulated, talked into complying to sharing our gifts for different benefits and purposes, you know, and it kind of gets manipulated.
Yeah, like the V2K.
That's the dark side of it.
The V2K, right? So many people think that it's their higher self talking to them, and it's not. It's V2K, and the public aren't aware of this. This is really bloody dangerous. You know, and like when I had, not to brag, but I'm gonna, when I had David Icon, I told him about this, and he goes, Nikki, the Russians have had V2K for 30 years. I went, oh, what?
Yeah, we're just delayed in that knowledge of knowing that they've got this technology where they can, like, stream this stuff out, and it can be picked up on frequency, on either low wave frequency or high wave,
or a carrier frequency coming in on the bottom.
Yeah.
What about memory slides? Have you had? I'll explain to you what my memory slide was, because this is coming up a lot. Okay, now people are getting, like, for my images I got was a whole bunch of different ships just showing up. which is what they've done right now, right? Okay, this is
Yeah.
actually, I just realised that. Shit. Okay, they all show up at once and they are all different sizes, like
Yes.
from the big Carillion ships from Star Wars, like I'm talking mega. And mind you, I have seen a ship bigger than planet Earth. I have been shown that, and whoa. Okay, I've lost my train of thought. The ships are coming in. They're all different sizes, down from a basketball to great Carillion ships. But if you ask me the details of those ships, I can't give them to you because it feels like a mind wipe or a mind slide or a memory like we're going to give. And a lot of people go, oh, why didn't this happen? I think it was for my own protection because I would have been, blabbing on the internet. Yeah, the ship looks like this. It's got this detail in it. And that's like, hang on. So I think that's my analogy. They'll give you that information, but then they'll hide the details. And this doesn't necessarily mean it's negative and they're trying to hide something. I think it's more for your own protection if we have too much information. So have you had any experiences where you've had all those details, but then that one detail, you just can't get it and you think, wow, that's so different. It's a different texture.
Yes.
Than a dream or a meditation. It's the text. I'm talking essence and texture right here. It's different texture.
Yes.
Right. Do you want to go? What happened?
Yeah. I once talked to a guy in an interview about this, about astral projection and about what we do while we're asleep and a little bit about. And I explained a little bit about the experiences that I'd had, and a little bit like you, I'd had this deep out-of-body experience, but while I was asleep, if that makes sense. I went completely somewhere else, which I've got the ability to do. But this place where I was at, there was crafts like you're describing that I can't even put into words. But they were there, and they're things that I can't even explain with anything what I'm seeing. And I've been shown things in books, and I remember more symbols and shapes rather than, and I have no clue as to why I'm being shown this, just like yourself. But then I was shown something, say, 20 years ago. I had an experience like what you're describing in a dream state, and I was shown this horseshoe. To me, it looked like a horseshoe. I was reading a book. It was letters. They were like sparkly and on fire, and this mentor was reading with me and asking me to remember what, and I remember looking at this horseshoe symbol and saying that on Earth is what we call a horseshoe. And this being non-human intelligence, I'm going to call it, because I do think that they visit us in our dream state. When we're more relaxed and we're more able to receive them more easily.
Oh, am I here? So, sorry. Yeah, you dream. Yeah, of course. I just want to tell everybody, they come up in your dreams first.
They can come up in your dreams. They can come up they can come up anywhere, but they do like to come up in dream state. And I was asked to remember this horseshoe shape and symbol. That horseshoe shape, it appears everywhere I go.
Oh, wow.
Everywhere. So,
and you don't know what it means yet?
Kind of, I
okay.
do. Because it kind of connects to my research, funnily enough.
Okay. Oh, you know what I'm getting now? She's going to get that later. It's pretty obvious.
I'm going to,
You're ready.
Get the rest of it later, but what I'm researching and what I'm doing, because I'm mad about rocks, and that's just a hint. I'm not going to reveal what I'm doing, give my secret away. But there's a correlation with this horseshoe shape. and ancient history, let's say, our ancient ancestors. There's this correlation and connection.
Well, it could mean an arch.
It could. It
Could
could.
mean an arch.
It could.
Or like, you know, like tunnels or arcs or hallways. It
What
could.
I'm finding is that when I visit most of the stone circles, they're in this circle shape, but they kind of stop in shape, and they have an entranceway in to the center. And when you look at them from above and look at the hinges, there's a bit of a horseshoe shape going on.
Oh.
And
Is there quartz in the stone?
there
Stones?
is, yeah. I go to a lot of places like that are all
What's
over
crystal?
Dartmoor. Yeah, and they're like
Same with the
super
pyramids.
charged. Exactly the same as the pyramids.
Yeah.
Super charged.
Yeah.
And there's just a connection that's there that follows me everywhere,
Yeah.
all over the world.
Isn't it funny? I find that my higher self, I want to know knowledge, but she actually gives me knowledge that I need. Not that I want. You know what I mean? Like, I get something I really want this. No, you're going to get what you need. Oh, all right. That's how this is what's happening. It's like, I really want to know the details of those ships. No, you're not going to get them too much later. It's going to cause too much trouble for you. So I understand that now, why it's not some conspiracy. They're trying to keep it. No, it won't confuse me or anything like that. But I must admit that image I got after my lab experience. So how do I know if it wasn't them or something else? See, this is what I've got. This is what I say about texture of the dream, of the vision, of the meditation. Is it different, or is there spots slightly different in those movie images that feel different? And this is what I'm trying to learn. I'm trying to pick up the essence.
They're classic dream invaders, aren't they? Like, we've been fed the information. If you go to movies like The Matrix and Avatar, and they show you where you can be put to sleep, and you can be zipped in and out of a sleeve, and this is not so far from the truth. That you can be zipped in and out like a sleeve. They've learned to do this somehow. It's been part of the secret space program for a long time, and part of the My Lab abductees and people that have been invaded, let's say, against their will, without knowing that they've been used and taken for some kind of source or resource, whether it be for we hear a lot of it. People think that they feel like they have gone somewhere else to fight. They've been fighting in some kind of battles. Got people.
Not in a way that is on a fighting way. Mine was more like hop off the ship and just shoot out some amazing technology. I had a white dog with me too. I had a colleague too, and I just shot out energy and then hopped on the ship and then just went to somewhere else, to another planet, and just did that. I wasn't on Earth or other planets doing anything like fighting in battle. Mine was more of an energetic block there, block there, block. I've seen that.
You weren't any Germans or big spaceships and reptilians and stuff like that.
Yeah.
Wells, I wanted to ask you, in all your years of experience,
I have experience.
How do they get us out of the house and into these My Lab like how do they get us? Do they call us? Do they put some stuff in our house? Is the black box I've heard of? How do they get us?
Black box. That's an interesting one, that black box.
Have you heard
I,
that once?
I've heard about the black box.
Yeah, yeah.
My ex-partner said that a black box was held against his head.
How big?
Um,
You're talking about something the size of what?
it's about the size of an apple, he said.
James Ring.
And
Oh,
it was held against his head, and he said he was taken through a wall, and he was describing it to me, saying, "You're never going to believe what I'm saying, but just listen to what I'm saying." And he said that they'd shown him a way where that they can just like walk through walls with you,
yeah.
like a spirit
I've had
would
that
walk
happen.
through a wall, and they
Did he
made
end up with
him.
red dots all over his tummy when he woke up the next
I
morning?
have no idea, but I know I was wiped out for a couple of days, and I felt
Days.
really, really, really ill,
Yeah.
and I felt like they were gonna kill me, and I saw them in my dream state that felt very, 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 very real. It didn't feel like dream state. It felt like it was really happening, but I knew I was asleep, which is
When you say they, was it
there were two of them.
A's or
No,
reptilians?
these were reptilians. They were huge,
Oh.
and they were trying to crush me. I can only describe it as they were trying to crush me like a can. They were like really like trying to crush
Pressing
me
you.
down. Yeah, they were trying to crush me
Oh
to
my God.
the ground. And my ex-partner, who had this fabulous ability of dream sharing with me, and obviously we were sleeping in the same bed, and
Yeah.
he described that he'd had this black box that they were kept moving his head, and he was trying to move his head back saying, you know, what are you doing to her? And they were saying it's just something that we need to do. And he was like trying to get to me and could hear me screaming. But in my dream state, all I saw was his hand come in. It was like just like that. His hand came in and just grabbed me. And I woke up like thinking, what has
I
just
know.
happened to
Yeah.
me? And there's no one you can go to tell
Yes.
them.
Explain
Yes.
more about
No.
this dream state, this dream sharing. Because I find that very interesting.
We've always dream shared and still do dream share. I can dream share with people.
But do you both appear in the same dreams with the other person?
Yes.
Or are
Yeah.
you both the primary viewer in the dream? So you don't see each other. Does that make sense?
I see the people that I'm in the dream with very, very clearly, and I've had people contact me to actually clarify that they've had a real interaction and encounter with me through dream state.
Has your son had any scratch marks on his body that look like claws from a reppy?
No,
Okay, mine has.
no.
Mine has. My son bites his fingernails. There's just no way in the world he had red scratch. This is very common, guys. It's really common. Red scratches, just claw marks all down his stomach and back. And the red dots, Dolly, yeah. I think I was with a guy once he actually introduced me to all of this. And we both woke up with these like a gazillion red little pin dots all over our stomach the next morning. That's one indication you've been taken too. And the other indication is your arm hair under your arms, or 3-day growth things like that, fingernails.
But what
that
about
kind of.
was there any particular pattern you had in the red marks, like triangles, equilateral triangles, any little shapes
No.
like a daisy, like six
it
dots
was
in the middle, and
like,
it looks like a little daisy?
No, there was millions of them just all bled out all at once. It looked like it's definitely because you've been out, you've been changed into a different frequency. So whatever's happened to the blood has popped up with all these. And he told me, he said, this is not uncommon. I'm like, all right, okay. And he was the first to see greys run around my house, but I couldn't see them. But yeah, bloody see them now, that's for sure. Seen them at the end of the bed. But I explained that in my last video, and I
Well,
think
for
you
those who
guys,
haven't seen it, that's part 1 or 2.
yeah. And
I
again, the
gave you an
hand,
either
right?
or there, for God's
Correlation
sake.
with the hand. Dolly, you were concentrating on the hand, right? With that dream, same thing, right? I had a regression with Misha Johnson. She's gone, look at the hand, look at the hand. I'm looking at the hand of this guy. My God, this skin was incredible. And I found out later, it's cloning. Like, duh, this guy's skin, this big white creamy hand, he had no freckles on it, no marks, absolutely nothing. It's like baby skin. And that's when a friend of mine said, yeah, Nick, that's cloning. I'm like, wow. The hand, look at the hand. See the correlations with the dreams and my labs, all that kind of thing. Like, for some reason, it's like, look at their hands. Like, because people ask you, what are you, like, what shoes were you wearing or whatever. Like, it's like, I can't see that. You just tend to focus on certain things when you have these experiences. To me, it's more like an astral travel. And it's like my higher self is just showing me bits and pieces of like what I need to learn. And one of them was when they showed me, this is so crazy. I saw the planet. I'm in space. I'm looking down at the planet, our beautiful planet, and underneath is this ship that's coming out, and it was bigger than the planet. And that really, like, are there ships out there bigger than Saturn, Jupiter? Holy cow! That's completely changed my perspective of what big really is. You know, talk about expansive mind. It's crazy. It's crazy. Well, I'm happy that I'm experiencing these things. All the shit and everything like that with my lab and all that kind of that. I don't know how I survived that, but I did. So I've learnt from it. And I'm really glad that I can actually share all my information about this and all coming together and correlating with that, because we need to know what's really going on, because there's so much crap out there. People are frightened. They're really frightened. They're scared.
I think that's the thing. A lot of people can make it very scary, and lots of experiences that I've had haven't been scary. They've been more positive and interactive and more interesting and funny in some kind of way, and really like made me laugh, and
Yes.
and I have had experiences also where I've been in kind of a fighting situation and things have got a little bit tense, and I've thought to myself, whoa, why am I wearing this kind of get up and gear, and wow, this is interesting what I've got on, and what's
What did you
this?
have on? Exoskeleton, or what was it?
No, I was in an interaction where I was hijacked in my sleep, but I was aware that I'd been hijacked in my sleep. And it was a little bit like the Matrix kind of thing. And they'd put a scenario in my dream that they just knew that I would go for, like bait.
Yeah. Yeah.
And I went straight for that interaction in my dream and was like, whoa, got quite hostile in my dream. Next thing I know, a car had pulled alongside me in my dream. They'd pulled me in, and I'd looked at these two guys that I was with, and I'm like, oh no. What do you want? Like, not now. What's going on? What you taking me for now? I knew who they were, but I don't know who they were. I can't tell you who they are, but in this state, I knew who they were. And then I was on a craft, and I was kitted up in some kind of gear, what you'd see in the movies kind of thing, like,
like an
clothing
kind of
and,
thing.
like tight
Color
black,
was it?
very tight black, like carbon fiber, but it kind of fitted to my skin. It's very hard to explain. So when we talk about reptilians, you know how a reptilian's got that kind of skin, this body armor or whatever you wore fitted directly into my skin, like molded.
Wow.
Very, very
Well,
weird
conscious.
stuff. Yeah, and
Wow.
I'd got some kind of like thing on my arm that I could connect to that would be my communication device, and that was it. I was off. I was somewhere with some other guys going into battle, walked in a big room with lots of strange I was in a craft. I was in a huge craft that I must have been doing something, going some, but I was kind of geared and ready for that battle, like, come on then, let's go and kick some ass kind of thing, like, let's go and do what we've got to do. So
Then did you wake up exhausted?
Pardon? Oh yeah,
Did you
so
wake up exhausted? Yeah.
so exhausted, and bones that feel like they're kind of like broken. Or sometimes I could have interactions where I feel like I've been away for months, like
Wow.
literally months, and like, how can
Oh.
that possibly be? And then I'll wake up and feel like, wow, it's good to be home, like, kind of thing. And I feel like I've been away for months and I haven't. I've been to sleep one night, but
Oh God.
I do have snippets here and there of little bits.
Yeah. Like I wake up and I say to myself, I feel like a Frodo that's just gone through Lord of the Rings 1, 2, and 3. I wake up and go, oh, wow, what a journey that was. It's just absolutely exhausted. But I can't remember. All I know is that I'm being chased and all that kind of stuff. So they're the kind of things that I usually get, and I know that there's something there that I need to look at, maybe do a bit of shadow work, that kind of thing. I haven't worked on that yet, but it's all just trying to work out and differentiate what's a hologram, what's an inorganic hologram, what's an organic hologram. It's all a hologram, so it
We
must
have
be
to work out.
holograms.
We have to basically discern what's part of the natural dream state, because we naturally dream. And we can talk about things in our day to day, and we'll go and we'll dream about them, and it's just a dream. But then there is dreams there where it'll go a little bit further, where we can actually astral travel, and we can have that out of body experience while we're asleep. And we're
it's
meant
amazing,
to
isn't
do
it?
that naturally as part of our sleep pattern. We kind of have different states of sleeping and dreaming, but there is a part of the dream state where the soul just comes kind of out the body a little bit and just sits just above the top. And that's when sometimes people will go, oh, I fell back in my body and I felt that, and it felt like I was falling. And it literally is that part where the body is just out, that's ready for the astral travel. And those are the deeper parts that we can get some answers from and connect
Is
with.
there a difference between your astral travels and your dreams? Is there any kind of, you're doing one thing rather than the other?
Yes. They can be controlled. It's a mastered technique, and I think astral travelers will connect to what I'm saying, that they kind of master the astral world of dreaming, and it becomes a part of a big part of our world. It's a very big part of my world, is the dream world, and what I do there is most of my good work. My soul work is working while I'm asleep, if that makes sense.
Yeah, well, it's about multidimensional consciousness, and you try and talk about that to normal people, not normal, but people who are unaware, and they can't even grasp that. And yet, I live in that every day. You know what I mean? I'm not in 3D, frequency. And I'm finding it hard to deal with people in 3D frequency because I'm always in an enlightened frequency. I'm not trying to say that I'm superior or anything like that. I feel like there's no value difference in any of us with the human race. However, I just feel that humanity is waking up to their multidimensional consciousness, and I think that's something that the ETs are trying to help us to.
Okay, that's a big deal. The changes, the enhanced changes that people are going through. They've got all these experiences, going through all these experiences, and they're evolving into some other more empowered situation. Do you want to talk about that?
Well, I know your senses start to kick in, become more, your ESP and everything like that. That is something that we really need to, it's something that you need to practice every day. It's like singing. You got to practice. It's like podcasting. You got to practice it. You got to keep working on it so that you can get more used to it, and it broadens and grows. And for me, it's more on a soul level, where my higher self or my monad or your soul or your higher soul, I mean, so many bloody layers up there, comes in and she'll go that way. And I'm like, okay, sweet, let's go. Things like that. And it's very commanding too. They'll come in really commanding to help you. And it's not imposing on your will. It's actually trying to save your ass. So there's heaps of times where I know my higher self has saved my ass. I nearly tripped into something that was not good for me. So I think people need to be aware of that. That's coming out too. They're going to be frightened. Oh, my God, I'm seeing two consciousnesses at the same time, or I'm seeing two frequencies at the time, or I'm seeing two images overlapping and blending at the same time.
People are becoming more aware of their consciousness and raising their consciousness. And I think that's got a lot to do with it of how we have expanded and accelerated, and we have sped up with it, and the Gen Xers, whatever people want to call themselves, indigo kids, star seeds, it doesn't matter. It's what we're connecting to source. More and more people are connecting to their source through source and waking up to this consciousness. And part of that is now realizing that, hey, we do have gifts. We have got this human Wi-Fi. We can dream share. We can tune into non-human intelligences. We do affect electrical items with our frequencies.
Yes. I walk past lights, and some of them blow. This happened to me in Fiji here. But in Fiji, I kept walking past them. I kept blowing the bulbs all the time. Like, what's going on?
It's a common trait of people with a very, very high frequency that are tuned in, that they can blow things and fuses and and glass. I've seen people blow glasses and all kinds of crazy things happen. But there's more and more parents that are embracing it in their kids. So that is making our kids not afraid to use their gift, to use their intuition. We're now being taught that hidden part, that sixth sense that we've got, that gut feeling, is what we call intuition. We feel it in our chakra system, our emotions, the first place. Those of us that are in tune, we're in tune with all our little chakra parts. We know when there's something off, when we're vibrationally frequent stuff, because we spiral off.
Dollie and Nikki, how do you know you're connecting with source? What, as opposed to talking to God, where you go to church or something? What's the difference? How does that manifest itself, and you know it's source?
It's no difference, and it can be that connection. I can go in a church and I can connect with what is God to me, that's not going to be something that is God to someone else. It's a frequency. I can go into a mosque and connect with the same frequency. I can go into a pyramid and connect with the same frequency. It's source. It's our genetic of this feels right, this feels whole to me. When I plug into my source, I use my intuition of what feels right and what feels wrong and what resonates with me and my DNA and my body makeup. And I think each one of us is tuned that little bit different. That's why we all learn from each other. If we was all tuned on that same frequency, it would be, too much
all
of
the same thing.
a flat level harmonic.
Yeah, imagine how boring that would be. We all saw everything in the same thing. Oh my God, Dolly, you just wow, yeah.
But it is all about frequency levels and harmonics and which way we flow. So whether we go into a church and connect with God, some call that their source, that's their life source and force that flows through them. That's their source. My source is a universal source. I connect with my higher self and my ancestral lines and my guides, and that's the source I connect with. I ask them to live through me. I'm still here, and that's what I think that awakens and has been awakening in each and every one of us on the planet. We're a collection of our ancestors.
Yes.
And we remember, whether it be 100 years ago or 1,000 years ago.
Yes. It's in our DNA.
It's in our DNA.
Yeah.
And the starseed part, it's in our DNA.
Absolutely. Yeah.
The
God,
it's there.
For me, it's like God there's a piece of God inside me. I feel like we're all gods in a way, but not the big ego God. Do you know what I mean? To me, like everything is like a small piece of God manifest. What I do, I go straight into my heart and I feel direct cognition. I don't even know how to explain that. But for me, it's not like time goes and then I get the feeling. It's just like this boom. Especially if I'm connecting to my father who's passed on. That's a good indicator, guys. With someone that you love that's passed on and you get that, like, and you're talking like dad, da-na-na-na-na-na-na, and you'll smell them or whatever, the smells and that, there's this thing that comes in that just goes doom.
Boom.
And to me,
like
it's like
clarification.
It just goes straight in the heart and it goes boom, direct cognition. For some reason, it's like bang. It's not like, oh, I have to search. It's like instant bang. And I'm like, whoa, okay. And that's how I feel with my own God source within myself, how I'm connecting to that. However, today there's a lot of spaghetti and wires and mucked up I don't know about you, but when I try and remote view something, if I'm not allowed to
love remote viewing.
Me too. Bloody exhausting though. But if I'm not supposed to look at something, something will come up and it'll look like spaghetti or look like wires or something. And I'm like, damn it, why can't I have a look at this? Now I accept it. No, Nikki, you're not allowed to have this information right now for your own bloody good.
Or
right?
they'll show you a snippet and you're like,
I'll tell everyone, So that's what it is for me. The God source is in everybody. And we need to learn to connect back into that. That's been taken away from us, I think. I think our genetics have been fiddled around with that. So yeah, and we're bringing that back.
But I do argue the fact of gods or goddesses. So there is like a little bit of debate there because, I think God was a woman.
I think God is androgynous.
Well, yeah,
I think
I'll give it both. I think there was a bit of both involved, but
I think so.
Are you telling me that Charlton Heston was speaking to transvestite?
No, Miles, no.
I mean, Charlton Heston's, he was Moses or whatever the hell it is, yeah.
Oh, yes.
I thought it'd offer some.
Oh, androgyny, you know. A lot of the ETs are androgynous. I've got the most beautiful feline. She's blue. She's gorgeous. Her name's Shibi. And she comes to me. I actually got Leonardo AI and I typed in everything. Excuse me. Look at me coughing, right? I'm trying to get the info out. And I actually got a vision of her and I've got a picture of her and everything like that. I'll send it to you later, Miles. She's blue. She's beautiful. She got the whiskers here. Long kind of blondie curly hair with the ears. And she's got big boobies and she's got muscles. Not muscles like a man, but she's really well built. I wouldn't screw with her. About 8.5 feet. Loving like.
So you definitely know the difference then.
Oh yeah. Oh yeah.
Dollie, you're laughing.
Describe you. There are no because there's words on this to describe the love that I have felt from her. There's just no words. There's no words to even describe the richness, the extent of it, the infinity of it, the love that I have felt, and I want to. This is why I want to bring this down. I think that's got something to do with why I'm here, to bring that unconditional love. I feel like I've been privileged to actually feel what unconditional love is like, and I want to have everyone experience that. I want them to have my experiences. So that's why I went out blah, blah, blahing to everyone, and people just didn't get me. Now they're starting to, wake up a little bit. But that unconditional love, oh, my God, that source. There's no words for that. There's no words
No.
No. It's a love that encompasses you it's like bliss on steroids, but you're calm. That's weird, isn't it? You're on steroids, but you're calm. It's like that. It's like that bliss, that unconditional love. It comes in and I'm like, wow, I want everyone to feel like this. This is what got me obsessed. I'm like, wow, I love this subject. It's never ending. I'm still learning now. And now that I'm connecting with this beautiful feline, collective consciousness, not just one, she's collective conscious, which is probably why she's got the male and the feminine and the masculine physically on the outside, because she's a bit of both. But they're here. I can't wait till they decloak. I can feel them, see them in the clouds. I know when they're here. They come. They give me a little foresight before they arrive. It's not like they suddenly arrive.
Yeah,
like
you can feel
to me.
Yeah,
they show themselves to me. Yeah, I'm not going out and looking. They're showing themselves to me. I love that, because that makes me realise I really am connected to other races out there, that I'm not afraid, and I love cats. I love pussycats. I'm obsessed with Sekhmet and all that. I love all the feline energy, and that's because of this experience with this beautiful feline who's just so protective but commanding at the same time, and kind and loving.
See, I don't like cats.
No, don't you?
No, I'll admit it. I'm not a cat woman. I'm allergic to cats, believe it or not.
What a shame.
But I think they're cute. But I wouldn't have one. Do you know what I mean? I shouldn't say I don't like cats. I do like cats. They're really cute. But I'm not a cat person. But that didn't stop one visiting me.
Oh, lovely.
They actually mentioned Miles and asked me if I knew him.
Are you telling me that was a Ginger Tom?
No, it wasn't a Ginger Tom. No, it wasn't a Ginger Tom. It was a really weird experience, actually.
Do you want to explain that? Because I've been thinking with cats. They come over to me and say hello and all that sort of stuff. In fact, they'll be in a perfect slumber, having a nice time, and then they hear me coming along, or they detect my presence, and then they get up and they come over and they, do the old leg thing and, stroking and all that, and then they bugger off.
That's it.
And I've also had cats watch my car. just to sit there
Yeah,
watching.
but the cats are here on Earth have been a bit corrupted, you know. They're not the ETs, they're different, but it's just a reference, I think, just to know that these felines are out there. And maybe our cats from here maybe came obviously from them. So
Dolly, I want to hear more about this cat that talked to you and mentioned my name. In what context?
Well, hang on, because I've had a few experiences with cats. I mean, one followed me all around Karnak in Egypt.
Oh, wow.
Like, one followed me all the way around there, and even the guides were saying, this is strange, like, you know, this cat is, and it followed me all the way around till I got to Sekhmet and had my own private little thing with Sekhmet in that temple. In that very, very dark room.
Do you want to tell us about that? Nancy Pollitt from the Dutch crop circle people. She had a very heavy relationship with Sekhmet, and at the British Museum here as well.
Interesting.
Hilary Ramo took a photo of Sekhmet coming out of her temple, and it's like a morphogenic field, pale silver, just the face, the lion face coming out. I'll send it to you.
I had an interesting thing with Hathor last time that I was there, which is another story. But that was an interesting experience. And
tell us your other story. This is a time. Tell us.
Oh gosh.
Yeah, tell us about Hathor. Yeah.
I had a fever while I was out there.
Hang on. Hathor, is that in Dendera? Is Dendera in Hathor?
Dendera.
The one with the light bulb. Okay,
yes,
I know.
And that's the one with the maze in the walls, and it's got like the melted floors in there that look more worn to me. They don't look melted. When you're actually there and you see the floor, they just look very, very worn, because you walk around the rest of it and realise that this temple has been walked around for however long it's been standing there. So that is a lot of people walking in and out that temple. Pardon?
That makes sense, yeah.
Yeah. And but before I went there, I'd been there before on my last visits, and beautiful, beautiful temple. But I had a fever. I got bitten by some kind of mosquito, and I was out there traveling alone, and I didn't know, but I was apparently out of it for 2 days, apparently. And I'd hired a private apartment, as you do, you know, in Egypt. I've got this private villa to myself, and 2 days being in a fever, my door knocked at 11 o'clock at night, and it was this very beautiful little Egyptian girl that was looking after the premises there. And she was like, Miss Dolly, we're just checking that you're okay, because we haven't seen you for 2 days. And I was like, has it really been 2 days?
Wow.
In that 2 days, I'd had a dream in dream state, and I was dreaming. I'd been taken somewhere in my dreams. And there was a bat that was protecting me, and I'd be waking up in and out of this consciousness, and I went into my bathroom in Egypt, and lo and behold, there was a bat flying around my bathroom, and I just shut the door. I thought, I can't manage that. I'll go and pee in the other bathroom. And as I walked through, there was a great big lizard on my wall, and I'm like, am I seeing things? Like, there's a lizard like in my bedroom now, and there's like,
is that not relatively normal? Are these little? Are you talking this? What
it
sort of
is
size?
relatively normal, but I almost kind of felt like they were kind of like there protecting me in some kind of way, because then I went into a dream state, met Hathor, and and I turned into, well, it was a bit weird actually. She gave me a snake that was black and white, and it went into my body, and my body began to transform into this serpent, black and white snake that was really weird. Yes,
nothing weird there, Nikki.
I've seen something similar to this.
Explain.
It was like some kind of transformation, I think, through DNA.
I've seen a lot. It's like I've seen the snake. It's a light.
Yes.
And it's light. It's got a head on it, and it looks like a sun.
Yes.
And I've seen it, and a lot of people say that's the Kundalini serpent. A lot of people do C5s. You see the Kundalini serpent, and it goes straight into the spine, and then you see it spiral up, and then the pineal gland goes.
That's correct. And it was almost as though that this snake that had got into my body there in my dream state that she'd given me had gone directly through my body. I don't know. I felt healed. I felt the next day, I was ready to walk around the Valley of the Kings again, and, and go over to Karnak. And I did all this alone, on foot by myself, and thought, wow, I've just lost 2 days in Egypt and gone on a wild experience through dream state. It was though I was meant to
do it,
experience that. And it was kind of a wild thing that happened to me while I was there in dream state.
They're like, no more physical for you. That's right. You're in Egypt now. We're going to show you some stuff. Blah, 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 blah.
Yeah.
Dun-dun-dun-dun. 2 days, bang, wake up. That's a part of, it's like, oh, you didn't miss 2 days. You were there, babe. You were just doing something on a higher level.
But that's I had cracking lips that 2 days later. I mean, they were so muzzy bitten. It was like I'd had them plumped. It was amazing. I had these great lips for free. I had lip filler for free.
Love it. Love it. Love it. Love it. That's fabulous. See? There's always a silver lining.
Always.
Always silver lining.
And I promised to take you out there some time. We're going to meet up halfway in London, I think it is. And
yes, I would love that.
Jet off.
I was going to go with her, Miles, but COVID hit and I was so locked down in Melbourne. It was just ridiculous. So, yeah.
Yeah. Next time.
Next time, darling.
I'm going out soon. I'm going out again soon. So,
okay.
Yeah, I'm going to be doing a little bit of this and a little bit of that.
A little bit of this and a little bit of that.
Bit of this and a little bit. Somebody I know might.
Is this kind of is this some kind of a tour? Are you shooting films for somebody or what?
No.
Tell us more, Dolly.
Well, I know somebody that might be on a little bit of a digging team out there, and there's not any direct promises, but there might be a day where I can go along and just observe them digging what they're digging.
Wow.
Oh man, dig this is really cool.
That is really cool. That's definitely a Lara Croft hat moment and all the desert gear and adventure kind of thing. Yeah.
Well, imagine if they discovered something. It would be absolutely fabulous for you to witness that, wouldn't it?
Yeah.
They haven't found, I think, which tomb they found? Tomb they haven't found. I think it was Tutankhamun's wife or something like that. Real major. They haven't found her yet. Or is it Nefertiti? One of the big ones they haven't found yet.
There's so many. There's so many that they haven't found. But I have been into the Museum of Ancient Civilizations there, and it is astounding. The royal mummies are amazing. They're something else. But
they've just done the museum too.
Yeah, but nobody.
Well, a few of them might be still buried in Ireland.
What's that?
The Egyptians did visit Ireland.
I reckon they did. Yes, they did.
Via Sligo, of all places. It's funny how they entered Ireland from the northwest of the country. Why go the whole way around to come into Ireland from there rather than just go up the river?
That's true.
So did red hair come from Ireland and go to Egypt, or did red hair come from Egypt and go to Ireland, or was it both?
I think it probably came from Mars. The Phoenicians.
You know what? I'm glad you've touched on that
Okay.
because in the temples, there is every race there in those temples. It's on the walls. I don't know why they don't show this to the public and put everybody's mind at rest.
Well, we've never known anything to be restricted or maybe lies being told about what's been found in Egypt. It's all pretty open plan. The Masons run the whole thing, and they've got nothing to hide, have they?
No. The Egyptians have nothing to hide, and they show it. So it's not until you get out there that you see the real things.
Mm.
And you can clearly see craft on the walls and things.
Oh, yeah. It's similar to Mexico. I've been to the pyramids in Mexico, in Cancun.
Oh, beautiful.
It's very similar. It's very similar.
Are those like the landing platform ones?
Yeah, I thought that too. I thought that exact thing. I thought, wow, you could land a spaceship on top of that. And then the movie Alien versus Predator came out and they did exactly that. And I'm like, wow. But then I thought that's pretty silly. Why would you build? I mean, it's obvious to put a ship on there and then they walk down, but there must be other stuff going on there. But
I think it was the people who walked up and then sort of lost their heads a bit, you know.
One guy said to me and showed me, you know, those observatories where they have the round concretey thing and the slit in the middle and they have to look at space. You know those things?
Telescope thing.
Yeah, that was on the top.
Yeah.
Yeah, an observatory. Okay, so that one of those was smaller and it was right on top of the hill there. And the locals told me that was 6,000 years old. He goes, you can see Cuba from up there. I'm like, 6,000 years old. Wow. What does that say? Like, and also the beach there, they call it the air-conditioned beach because you can walk on it without getting burnt. I mean, it's when you look at the little sand crystals, which is what they are, they've got a hole in the center of it. And so my theory is that's where they might have blown up those crystal pyramids in Atlantis and the beach in Florida.
Well, they're meant to be all outside the island of Bimini. Nothing going on there, Mr. Epstein.
Oh, yeah. Yeah, Bimini Island. Yeah, I could talk a lot about Bimini Island too. I've seen a lot of craft and a lot of dolphins that have been
Daniel
shaped.
List has done a lot of work on that. Dark journalist, well worth getting across his stuff.
Oh, okay. Yeah. So yeah, Florida and all that part down there in Mexico and everything like that. To me, it's slightly different, but it's the same as Egypt. I wouldn't be surprised if it was on the 33rd parallel, guys. Like maybe, is it or not? Or some sort of a rose line alignment or some sort of alignment there. But Mexico was the base of their thingos is a lot wider and a lot flatter. But again, it's quartz crystal in the thingo, and that's got so many properties in there.
Well, that's where St. Pete's Beach is in Florida, the Gulf Coast, the Gulf of America coast. And that's where the Full Disclosure Now conference is there at the end of July. And the St. Petersburg is built on crystal, and it's St. Pete's Beach. It's like the spit. That sort of crystal is there. It's not sand. It's like crystal.
That makes so much sense.
Yeah. Another thing the guys told me too is that they saw like these greys, but they were like robots. Sometimes they see them at the bottom of these pyramids, or they go inside the pyramid. Some people have gone in there and they're not supposed to, and they've seen little greys, but they were robots. They were really like dumb. They weren't sentient. They weren't like, I'm talking to you. They were like hundreds of them. That's what they said. That's what the locals have talked about.
Exactly.
In Cancun, Mexico, the pyramids. Yeah.
Wow.
So whatever's going on underneath there, some sort of programmed life form, some sort of base maybe under there, whatever's a porthole, who knows? But yeah, the locals told me, two things. That's 6,000 years old, and we've got programmed life forms that look like grey robots that are hanging around there.
Whole pile of stuff in Vietnam at the old temples in Vietnam. They have to deal with that. French had let a portal stay open, and lots of stuff came out of that. And they had more than 2 legs.
They had what? More than 2 legs?
Yeah.
So a portal opened in Vietnam. Do you
Yeah, there
think
was
that
a
maybe
very big, one of the big temples, and the French just abandoned it and let the whole jungle fill full of ETs, and
Wow.
the Americans had to brought a clone army in there, wiped the whole lot up.
That doesn't surprise me either.
And then when they were finished with all the clones, wiping out these ETs, and when I asked John Lear about it, and I said, in order to describe what these ETs were like, I said, well, were they a little bit like the alien? And he had one word: worse.
Oh,
So that was they were all destroyed, and the guy who was in charge of that was in this house. Didn't say much about it at the time. He was there when the 2 shooters that shot Kennedy from the book depository. They were hunched
that's all
down.
coming out.
You know, one hunched on top of the other, so the 2 guns were very close. No conspiracy there.
See, this is why I love spending time with Mom. Because you go along and it's like opening the blooming X-Files, mate. You go into his house and it's like proper Mulder and Scully, you know.
That's why I asked him, how are they getting us out of the house? Because I've asked everyone and I keep getting all this different stuff. Miles, do you think there's something
Hold on.
relation with portals and war? Because I get the feeling that the reason why they've gone into Babylon, Persia, which is now Iraq and Iran, is because there's a major portal there or some sort of Stargate.
Well, the first thing you should ask is why those countries were divided up the way they were after World War One and the end of the 19th century.
Okay, what's the answer?
Well, they were all splitting it all up because they knew what was all in there. And they put these leaders in to operate these things. I think it's well known that Saddam Hussein was handling, had a portal there, and he decided he'd sort of keep it.
Absolutely, because he built back up.
And then these leaders, they're only in there because they're told to do what they're doing, and once they stop doing what they're doing, they take them out.
Yeah. There's a rumor that Trump is a clone, but I don't want to go into politics. But exactly, how many?
And he was bumped off last week, and he's going crazy apparently.
Yeah, I heard he was bumped off a year ago.
Well, the actual Trump that we've got died a long time ago.
I've heard that too. Okay, so
I'm glad that you told. Just getting back to the Stargates, because I'm really interested about those.
Yeah,
I'm glad that you told me about that, because I got this feeling like why? How can Babylon or Persia, how can that, like, I was a teenager when they went into and we saw First Blood and everything like that. Like, this war over there has been going on for 30, 40 years. How can a war could be that so long, that could go on for so long if there's something else there that's happening? And now I'm getting the feeling that if we look at a map and see where all the wars are happening, they probably got Stargates.
It's all about gaining access to energy centers in different parts of the planet. That's where the Germans were here in Zenner.
It's been going on since it began, since Mesopotamia first started their empires, and then this is where the Stargates and everything. They're way.
We had a Stargate here at RAF. I've just forgotten. Ooh, we've been blocked. Just down the road from here. You know, they took all the Afghan people who died in the Afghan war. Jesus, it's not Bryce Norton. Just up the road from here. Blew up. Took the road with it. Lots of radiation.
Oh, wow.
Yeah. Wow. How about 5 years ago?
Yeah, we've got one here.
It's now MOD Lynham.
Sorry, darling?
Lynham. RAF Lynham.
Oh, okay. Okay. Yeah, so can you imagine what's going on behind the scenes with all that? It'd be like trade wars and all this stuff. Who's coming into the planet, who can't, la 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 la. Like, you know,
it's always down to trade. And if you want to find out what's really going on with the aliens, talk to the Minister of the Department of Trade and Industry, because they're doing deals with them. Anyway, girls, I think you're doing really well, so keep going.
Oh, Dolly, have you had any
visions coming from the moon, because I keep getting temples and funny writing flashes of the other. So I don't know where it is on the moon. All I know it's just on the moon, and I keep getting this.
Well,
There's writing
Nikki,
up there.
have things changed on the moon in the last 2 or 3 years? A lot of things have changed in the last 2 or 3 years since 2020, for want of a better date. And there's no other things going on here.
Like
in
harvesting?
2020.
Like harvesting energy?
Like people being kicked out, things changing.
Oh, like a change of
ownership.
power. Change of ownership. No, the only change that I get is this. I keep getting these images of there's temples on the moon, there's writings on the moon. It's a bit like Mars, that kind of thing. But
that's
darker.
Interesting, but darker. You see, because that's where you see my world. I've lived with an anomaly hunter, and you know, someone who's been part of that, and I've had a deep insight into seeing some things that
tell us more, Dollie.
Found on the moon. Well, I like anomaly hunting as well, and it's a great passion of mine. And you know, I've seen many things on the moon that are not, well, construction and things like, you know, ancient constructions and remnants.
Well, let's put it this way: we weren't allowed to go back in 1972 when we didn't go there in the first place. And now we're all going back.
They knew because Russia had already been there. They'd already discovered that there was an Anunnaki base there present on the moon.
And what did Russia use to get there?
What did they use to get there? I don't know. What did they use to get there?
Yeah.
What did they use to
Tell us more.
But, you know, all this is hush hush, and
listen.
They don't talk
Dollie,
about this.
Listen, we're just having this conversation. Miles. Who is going to be listening to this conversation that matters? Nobody, right?
Nobody.
So you can just tell us everything you want to say, and nobody will hear about it.
I've seen footage of some kind of astronauts footage that disappeared rather quickly. That was of a base that was found by some astronaut that was not, who said that they landed there first.
Well, let's put it this way. I'm very reliably informed that the programmed generated life forms that they were making in Berkshire and other associated British bases, they were knocking these things off because they needed them for, quote, the lunar base. And that but had a Union Jack on it.
Interesting.
And they needed these biological life forms to work. And, of course, that old stuff comes from the Nazis in World War II.
My visions are dark. They're just, it's very dim. It's very dim there. It's kind of old, very old, ancient, like pyramid temples with the writing. I keep.
Where's this, Nikki?
On the moon. I keep getting these visions of these like pyramid, but they're temples. And it's dark there. It's got a dark green kind of colour. There's not much light there at all. And I'm thinking, is it on the other side of the moon or something like that? But for some reason,
there's a reason why that side of the moon is made sure we can't see it here.
And I keep getting this, and I know that this means something. I know this is going to mean something in the future, but I don't know. And I wanted to know if other people were seeing the same visions that I'm seeing. Like, it's like I'm remote viewing when I don't have to do remote viewing. It's like these visions just pop in, and it keeps popping in all the time. It's very dark there, very, very large, lots of writing, and we're going to kind of discover maybe some of this writing is on Earth somewhere. I don't know. There's some sort of correlation there. So something's going on.
More details, please, Nikki. Now.
Well, it was an Anunnaki way station. I mean, it was an Anunnaki base to begin with, Nikki.
But when I say dark, I mean literally dark, not dark as an evil dark. I'm getting It's lit. It's very dimly lit
So you're
there.
talking about inner Earth, like inner moon?
No, I'm talking it's on the other side and it's completely dark. It's very dim there. Very old temple. It looks like it's yellowy greeny, but dull, dark kind of stuff. Lots of
Is that all the
hieroglyphs.
time? Or
Yeah,
it's just when you look at it?
hieroglyphs.
Or are you
The
looking on the
hieroglyphs.
inside of the moon?
No, I'm looking on the outside of the moon. It's some sort of temple pyramid with lots of hieroglyphic writing that's not like Egyptian, but kind of, I don't know, I can't even bloody. Anyway, it just keeps popping up all the time. I thought, what's the significance? And I thought maybe Dolly might have had some visions too, but it's very dim there. Like, you can hardly bloody see. It's very dim. Very
Okay, we're in the
dark.
last half hour, so I want action here, okay?
Action, I want to live. Action. What do you got, Dolly? What do you want to talk about before we got this last half an hour?
Well, I'm just sucking on some nuts.
Dolly, that could be taken in different ways.
I'm just, they're British,
right.
they're walkers, they're chilly.
That's okay.
We don't have to get the brand.
Oh God!
Do we have to get the Potter's Wheel out here?
No, I think when we're looking at the solar system out there, and you know, we've got all these things going on with Mars, we've got all these things going on with the moon, we've got all these things going on with the Earth, we've got things going on with the sun. There's things going on with the whole solar system right now.
Seems to happen every 12,500 years.
It seems to happen. And we're you know, we've kind of been reminded of this factor. Let's stick to facts here that humanity.
Dolly, you don't want to ruin a good story with facts.
A couple of times. You know?
Say that again, darling.
We have faced catastrophe as a human race a couple of times, you know.
Yes.
We've got through it.
Crumbling realities. We wouldn't be here if we weren't excellent at crumbling realities.
We know that. We're the species on the planet that can adapt here quicker than anything. And that tells you something.
Yeah.
That we are very, very quick to adapt, to learn, and to change to suit our environment.
Mm.
And that's possibly because genetically we are not from here.
Oh, yeah.
And
I say that all the time.
You know,
I'm not from here.
just visitors here to this Earth school that we all talk about as a school, and that we're just learning here, and we're caretakers here of this planet. And I think we easily forget that we are so small. And when we talk about there is life out there, and we've been talking about it, disclosing it for years, it's finally here. We're living through it. And it's only going to get more. You know,
I think it's going to get better.
It's only going to.
I hope we get free energy.
It's going to increase in vibration.
It's off the petrodollar. I can't wait. It'll be like the Industrial Revolution in the 1900s. It'll be I reckon it's going to flip overnight. Something will happen, flip overnight. That free energy will be released and everything will be more on an equilibrium. That's what I'm hoping for. Whether the powers at the top, you know, the powers that be, that word.
Well, I mean, ladies, do we have powers at the top? It all seems to be in a state of disarray. What's your opinion?
Oh, well, are you talking about the human ones or the non-human ones?
Tell us whichever you want to say. A lot of ETs have come and a lot of ETs have gone.
Oh, yeah.
Explain.
Yeah. I think, well, people know about Klaus Schwab. They know about the trafficking. Okay. So there's basically the planet's being raped in a way.
I think Mother Earth is sick of her children being abused. And I think that there are also our other family out there are sick of that as well and are trying to break that monopoly in the brainwashed media and stuff like that. I think there is, like politicians, like I don't like to talk about politicians because it's just such a horrible people. It brings up and triggers people in so many ways. And for me, they're all like, come on, guys. The same bird's got it's the same wings attached to the same bird. We all know that. However, the rest need to wake up and find that out because I think they're too soaked in politics and patriotism. And they're not thinking a little bit above. And they're all doing this escapism at the save us, Trump. So, as if a politician's going to save you. Like, come on.
No.
That's just silly.
I think they're all running scared, to be fair.
Yeah.
Why?
I think all the politicians
Why are they running scared?
They're running
we're waking
scared.
up.
They're running scared because they know that there is something bigger that is about to be revealed, and they know what it is. And they're just not saying because they are too scared themselves to even tackle the fact that if we find out that there's going to be chaos upon the planet. And I think that one of the things that they'll be revealing pretty soon is that there is a whole bunch of civilizations that are living on the inner earth of our earth and planet. And I think it's going to be revealed that a lot of these non-human intelligences actually come from the earth itself.
Yeah.
And a lot of bases are still here and functioning, and that us on the terra firma, top part of the planet, are very disconnected from what is really going on the outside of the planet and the inside of the planet.
Yeah.
I think we are completely controlled. And
well, on that, I'm going to interrupt there. On that, your man Brad Olson is going to be revealing maps that he's got from the Germans on how to navigate under the 2 miles of ice, because there are large areas there which are got huge caverns because of the hot gases and things from volcanic activity, and they've got maps how to negotiate the whole way into the center under the ice of Antarctica, and who knows where that goes.
It doesn't.
And he'll be revealing that at the Full Disclosure Now conference in Tampa, St. Pete's Beach in Florida, this July. Get your tickets at Full Disclosure Now.
Yeah.
I think the masses would be much more receptive to realizing that there are non-human intelligence coming from our own Earth first, just to gently ease them in before all the. I think that's probably what's going to happen. I mean, what do you guys think? I think that's makes kind of sense, doesn't it, to ease them in, not to shock people so they go into panic and all that kind of stuff.
Have you heard of the term pocket dimensions?
No.
Yes.
No. Explain.
Well, Dolly, explain what pocket dimensions mean, and don't talk about the giant spiders. I told you not to talk about the giant spiders.
I've heard of those, yeah. I have heard of those.
Pocket dimensions. Pocket dimensions. They're all around us, Miles. There are dimensions all around us. That's what I know from pocket dimensions. We're not just talking about Stargates and little dimensions you can.
Are you talking about like an aero bar? Peppermint aero bar? Or a crunchy bar? Lots of little bubbles in it.
Like the little bubbles that are inside. We live in the bubbles. We are part of that bubble. Everything is little bubbles if we want to look at it on a dimensional level. I suppose we're getting really deep here, Miles. We're going into.
So, in other words, you can go deep underground, pocket dimension. You go into a different realm, different space-time domain, and you got big feckers and small feckers, different atmosphere, all that.
It's like a honeycomb.
So instead of saying that the earth is just hollow on the inside, you're saying that there's pockets everywhere. It's not just one
It's like
pocket.
different dimensions.
That makes sense.
In other words, you can sort of like just end up like that thing on Ayers Rock or whatever it was, you know, the disappearance.
Hey, that's a Stargate too, Ayers Rock, yeah.
But it's not time as we time. This is just man-made. That time level doesn't exist in these pockets. They are just dimensional pockets of different dimensions. But
it's a bit like assuming that everything's consistent. Like you got, like the weather. I give an analogy that you've got the weather. You know, some places you got high pressure, low pressure. Some places it's freezing cold. Low pressure, high pressure. So you have high dimensional pressures and low dimensional pressures, for want of a better term.
Yeah. Yeah.
All part of the natural fabric of the matrix of octagonal
Remember when I was
reality.
talking about spheres, Miles, in our last was talking about, so you were talking about everything's like a circle or a sphere. I've seen that, Dolly. Have you seen what it looks like to be in a sphere? Like, have you seen your spherical body? There's this round.
I've made one. Yeah.
Oh, okay, great. So you know what the bloody hell I'm talking about.
Yeah.
It's just, I saw the planet down the bottom again, and I was in space, but I was inside a sphere, and everything looked concave. It was wild. It was wild.
That's absolutely. Your light body. That's
one of them.
The light body. We can grow it, or we can shrink it, and
that's right.
Yeah, we can move.
We do. We shrink it down to an orb so we can go through things. So we got the Hoover body, the radial body, a couple of different layers there, but I have seen that one, and it is the most. That's actually reality. That's what we're living in. We are spheres. We just can't see them because they're spinning so fast, right?
Little pocket.
Yeah. Yeah, it's not like this layered dimension. It's more like this. Did
you get that spaghetti soup?
It's kind of like that. It's like this. Oh, my God, it's wild. I'm glad you've seen that.
Yeah, absolutely. Clear as day.
Fabulous. It's fabulous. I love that. I am so lucky I got a vision of like that. That's just wild. It's wild.
I've travelled in light tunnels.
Oh, tell us about that.
It's just very, very, very fast. I've met Star Family, and part of that first experience was when
Vicky, I think your hair's looking marvellous.
It is. It's glowing red.
Thank you, darling.
You're glowing red. You like you've got a glow of a red glow.
Oh, lovely. It's probably my tan. Don't you love the way he just throws? You're on a roll and he throws something in like that. Like, okay. Yes.
And when you meet Star Family for the first time, that's my first memory is down the tunnel.
One of my first experiences with an ET was trying to tell me or convey to me about my emotions, because when I was hugging him, I was so overwhelmed with emotion, I dropped to the floor. Yes, there is a floor in these dreams. It was like dark blue. It's just like being in space kind of thing with a floor. But I was so overwhelmed that I was crying, like hysterically. And I dropped to the floor. And he dropped to the floor on purpose and showed me. And then we both laughing. And I knew what was going on here. I was laughing and crying at the same time. And he was trying to teach me to get a hold of my emotions and that I am just as valuable and worthy as what these guys are, as the ETs and what this guy was. And that I don't need to act like some Italian mama crying hysterically because of, in this overwhelming of to get a hold of my emotions. I don't need to drop to the floor and carry on like that. To get a hold of my emotions. That's
pull yourself together. Keep calm and carry on.
Yeah, but we were both laughing and crying at the same time, and that was absolutely bizarre for me. But that was to
like not when next time I see an ET or I have some sort of interaction with like that, I don't need to hug them and kiss them and cry them like some Italian mama, proving to everybody that just because you cry the loudest means that you hurt more. You have to feel, you know what I mean? I realize that now. I realize that now that I have to control
Excuse
my
me,
emotions.
what type of alien
not
were you
cry.
hugging like an Italian mama? A grey?
No, it was a beautiful.
8 foot tall Andromedan Pleiadian god.
It was a beautiful unity conscious man. He was beautiful.
Oh, beautiful unity conscious. Yeah, that's right.
And he's had a robe and it was really bright and
robe.
everything like
The old robe thing.
he had a
Come on, get down to it. Tell us. We need descriptions here. We need a description.
You know those things you wear in the hospital and they have the thing like that and your bum hangs out? It looked like that, but the rim of his robe was...
Are you saying that this ET's bum was hanging out?
No. It looked...
Come on, describe it for crying out loud.
It looked like that, but the line of the like the outside of the robe was really kind of yellowy bright, and on the inside was he was more of a light being. He was a light being who's beautiful.
A light being with his arse hanging out in a robe. Would you get in the hospital?
Well, I didn't see the back of it, but it looked like it wasn't a very well-fitted robe, put it that way. But the thing is, his energy was beautiful, and that's what he was trying to say.
His energy was beautiful, but his arse was...
I didn't get to see his arse.
Nikki, I'm not getting some kind of innocent thoughts here.
You're so naughty.
Dolly, can you help me here? For God's sake, woman.
Being naughty.
Miles, because I've had some really strange interactions with some of them. So I can't help out here.
No, I didn't get to see his bum. He did look like one of those robes.
I mean, we are talking about Australian hospitals here, and God knows what goes on there.
Yeah, you can imagine what goes on in every bloody hospitals. Yeah, missing kids and all that kind of stuff. Yeah, right. That's
okay, back to have serious points. What happened with this serious arse showing ET?
I told you. I hugged him and I was crying and I fell to the ground and he showed me we were laughing and crying at the same time because he showed me how ridiculous I am to be over crying and carrying on and hugging and no, I'm not as worthy as you, I'm worshipping you, that kind of thing. It was like that. It's like, stop worshipping them. You don't need to. You don't need to cry and hug and no. It's too overwhelming. Get a hold of your emotions. That was the first experience. So then
focus, woman.
When I've had other experiences, I've been able to control myself a bit better. It just was overwhelming. It's just overwhelming. It was so overwhelming. I couldn't stop crying. There was so much love there, and I just dropped to the floor. And we were laughing. He dropped to the floor to show me how stupid I was in laughing and crying. And I laughed and cried at the same time because he's showing me you don't need to do this. You don't need to be over dramatic and all this kind of stuff. Just help me to have my own self-worth. I don't need to worship these people.
So embarrassing on behalf of humanity, this.
Kinda. It was embarrassing for me when I looked at it later and I thought,
it sounds shockingly embarrassing, dreadfully embarrassing.
Well, our emotions are very, very powerful. If we don't get control of them, we're going to manifest crap that we don't want in our life.
Really? God.
That was the big thing for me with him when I first started out. I'm just really lucky. Again, he gave me a lot of love and self-worth. And that's a big thing too. There's a lot of energy out there to try and get us to feel as if we're not worthy. You're not good enough. You need this. You need that. You need that. La 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 la. And kids today are told they're not worthy. There's something wrong with them. They need to be fixed. You know, it's like, hang on a minute. Is that some sort of mind control message going out there to try and keep us down? Yeah. Yeah, it is. And once the human race discovers their own self-worth, can you imagine what that's going to be like?
Well, the first thing they got to do is...
I hope we're alive to see it on the planet.
Okay, ladies and gentlemen, I have to interrupt this report by saying if you are ever leaving the house, you make sure you got wearing a clean pair of underpants. Just in case you get abducted by the aliens. Aliens showing their arse. Right. Okay,
or no pants at all. That would be better.
Okay, last 10 minutes, Dolly and Nikki. Nikki.
Love everybody. Love yourself.
love the planet, love the earth, love the water, love, 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 and be grateful and abundant for everything you've got. We're still here, so stop whinging.
Sounds like a cue for a song. Okay, Dolly? You could eat your peanuts afterwards, you know?
I'm just busy here eating my peanuts. It's great, It's like, you know.
I'm trying to get... We're dealing with extraterrestrial life and meeting other beings of higher spiritual consciousness.
Well...
Yes. More good than bad.
Experience,
no, there's a whole pile of things there, Nikki, that illustrates you're in a state of trauma, and you're graphically illustrating those mindset states there.
Me?
Yeah,
right now?
you. I was talking to you.
Why do you say that?
Well, that's me being very slightly serious for a couple of seconds, just to sort of bring some brevity. No.
Well, yeah, I have suffered a lot of trauma. I mean, that's what...
I think Dolly's going to have suffered more trauma than you have, and her trauma is more important and better than your trauma.
Okay, he wants to play that game.
Oh, God, Miles.
I don't even know how to even answer that, you smart ass. Bloody hell, Miles. Fucking hell. Anyway, I love both of you.
Dolly will get me back on that one.
I just want more love in the world. Why can't we have that? You know?
Sounds great.
Yeah,
just about to burst into World War III. We need to screw all this shit off. It's World War III. That's another way.
Loveless, lawless.
Okay, right.
Loveless, lawless.
5 minutes left. Our manifestation powers are better there and more supremely more powerful than all these parasites who are leading us off a cliff. How do we demanifest and get rid of these parasites? We have power over manifesting the world. They don't. They're farming us. Why don't we just get rid of them? Demanifest them.
I think if we all thought, I reckon if we all thought the same thing at the same time, in other words, you guys can piss off. If all of us thought that at the same time, like I've had this all my life. All my life I've had these words. If everybody thought the same thing at the same time, we would be so powerful, we would manifest and create the most fabulous world. However, there are people that don't want to do that. They want to rape and pillage and plunder. You know, so, but I really think the Mother's Earth she's getting sick of this. It's like time to flick those guys off because everyone's waking up. We're not going to tolerate it, and everyone's just feeling their own sovereignty and understanding what sovereignty really is, and that's being invaded every day. So it's time to shield up, guys, and get out there and start communicating with everybody. And what we're doing here today is just like the trickle. Everybody needs to, know this. I think once critical mass hits, it's going to really flip. And I hope that I'm here on the planet to see this whole petrodollar go and we go into this free energy age and I can come and fly over and see you in a spaceship and you in a spaceship. How cool would that be?
Okay, Dolly, it's your bit now.
That would be so cool, actually, if you could zip over in a spaceship. That would be amazing. I think we are moving at a fast rate, and I think the world is in for some major changes, and we're not to get fearful or live in fear and not be misguided and look into feeding the media and things like that too much, and just experience life and live life and concentrate on the moment and family and who is important to you, and love each and every one that comes into your life and shares their precious soul and gifts with you. We've got something to learn for the world and for everyone in it, and leaving generations to come. Don't be fearful, that's what I say, and don't buy into half of the traumas that they're trying to force us into being a trauma-based planet. We're survivors. We've survived worse things, and bring on the disclosure more. Let's meet our brothers and sisters from the stars and and move on with humanity and take it to a new level where we're consciously evolved and can take care of our planet and ourselves a little bit more. If we're not educated, we don't know, right?
That's right.
We need more education on our true origins and where we come from and where we stand in this huge thing that we call life.
And Dolly, where would you expect people to go and get that education? Where do you think that's? And then Vicky, if you could say the same thing, where would they get that knowledge?
That knowledge is life, isn't it? That knowledge is life. It's tapping into our life source. We need to tap into source more. We need to be educated how to tap into source when we need it, because we've got the medicine. It's within ourselves, and I think we just need to be re-educated on using our gifts a little bit more and trusting ourselves a little bit more as a race.
Yeah.
Okay, Nikki?
Yeah, same thing, darling. Like I said before, just love in your heart. If you start asking the right questions, you'll find that you start to go on this journey of research about, you start to get knowledge that resonates with you in your own DNA. I also think that coming onto, and finding videos like this and the Basis series and everything like that is going to, really educate people. But as we know, we live in a, this prison planet where we've got a restriction, so it's a bit difficult. But yeah, just alternative media, guys, and asking the right questions and going on your own research. Try not to fall into the pitfalls as you go ahead. Just stay in your heart and realize that you're more powerful than that everything is designed to get you to perceive that you're not, because you actually are. We are more powerful, and we're a very loving race when we're given a chance.
Well, finally, how the hell did you two meet each other and become bosom buddies, for want of a better term? And they are bosom buddies. Why not?
We met through a guy, I think.
I think it was through Adam Ford when you invited him onto your first podcast. And Adam and I he's from Australia.
Yeah.
Adam and I have known each other for years and years and years. We born the same places. Yeah. So that's how it happened, through a mutual friend.
Dolly started podcasting ages before podcasting was even a word.
Yeah.
So, yeah, you did.
Yeah, I did.
You did. And we were like, wow, this is great. Bang. How do you do this? And no. And that's how it kind of all started, like that. It started like that. She took the initiative to start podcasting on her own when the word doesn't even bloody exist. So how's that? There's a need for it.
It's a Mac word, and I hate it.
Oh. What's a Mac word?
No, it doesn't matter. iPod, all that crap.
Oh, right. Podcast, yeah.
Yeah.
Well, online radio show or whatever you want to call it.
Yeah, we used to do all sorts of different blog talk radio, stuff like that. That's going back 10 years.
Oh, yeah. I mean, I used to do a bit of this, that and everything, but just babble, I think. I used to just connect with others and connect with those, and I think people were just happy at the time that somebody would listen to them and resonate with them. But
what connected you two? I mean, you're not exactly local. What brought you two together?
Well, Adam is Australian, and Adam had got some crazy footage that he used to take of craft and
who's this Adam? Explain who he is.
Adam Ford. He's a friend. Ford. Adam Ford. He's a great guy. He lives up there in LA, doesn't he? Up in California.
He lives in America.
Yeah. Up in the hills.
He takes footage every day. He's got every day he's taking photo.
Every day.
I think the key word these days is get yourself full spectrum cameras and see stuff that's not visible in human perception in broad daylight. They're flying all over the place.
But we talk about psionics, and I think Adam is one of them people that is like, You know, he can just call them in and go, okay, they're
Yes.
there, here they are, there you go. And we just connected like that, and that was it. And
Yeah. I think it was on Facebook. You know, he found out he was a super soldier, that kind of thing. So you should get him on.
That's a
He's
whole
amazing.
new other story. Well,
Oh, yeah.
I think that's it for now. We're now on the 27th of here. We're on the 27th. We're on the same day you are now, Vicky.
You're in the future with me.
Yeah. And Dolly, it was great to get you in. We'd hope to get you on a separate channel. We almost did it, but we've
almost
done a
did it.
test of things here. Always advancing things. So, any final words? Where do people get hold of you, Vicky, and where do people get hold of you, Dolly, if you want to get held off? Oh, well, you know what I mean.
I'm on Rumble. I'm starting a new Rumble channel. So just for people to come on and have a talk. I'm not
As
monetizing
what?
it or
Name the damn thing.
the Nikki Colombo Show.
Okay.
I've just started it. So if you want to
And
get on
why
there,
have
go
you just started it? Because the last time we were talking, you were on YouTube. What happened?
I had to take everything down before I got my whole channel was going to be deleted. So I had to make everything private.
Because?
They were going to take my whole channel down.
Yeah, but what?
So I talk about naughty stuff, Miles. Naughty.
I have no idea what that means or talking about. And Dolly, what about you, sweetheart?
Oh, you can find me. I suppose you can find me at Basis TV. You can find me at Spacelink TV as well. And you can find me on TikTok. I've got a big following over there.
As what?
you can find me on
You're about 5 different names. Are you Dolly, Indigo
Dolly
Star,
Indigo Star, there's
Deem,
only one.
and Dawning, Deeming, whatever the hell it is.
Leanne Deeming on Facebook.
Give us a name.
It's good old Meta, isn't it? It's a good old Meta, you know, verification. You know, this person's real.
Yeah.
But Spacelink TV, you'll find me there, and Basis TV.
And Spacelink,
of course.
Spacelink TV is on basistv.com, and that's a subscription service to pay for getting all of the Basis stuff all together.
Yeah.
Over the last since 1994 and a whole pile of other stuff. And I will be uploading all my raw Irish era camera video I shot of the Irish pirates way back to 1982 when I had hair. And that's a progress. That's going to be all the history of the massive revolution of broadcasting in Ireland, which happened between 1977 into, well, our big pirate station was finally taken off the air. Energy 106 running 1 million watts from the Irish border into Belfast until 2005.
Wow.
So there, I couldn't believe that's 20 years ago. Bloody hell. And with that, we'll say good night.
Good night, everyone.
Good night.
Love
Good night.
and peace.
Okay, Dolly, if you do that again so your voice keys you properly, say good night.
Good night.
A bit more enthusiasm there, for Christ's sake.
Good night, everybody.
Well, thank you.
Well, thank you. No, thank you for having me as a guest, and it's been a pleasure, and it's always a pleasure.
I think Nikki, I think she did better the first time. You know, part 3. Okay.
Isn't he? Don't you want to poke him?
We can always do another one later on, guys.
So that was very rude. That was very rude.
Another update, guys. We can do another update.
The point about that was you didn't appear on part.
No, I know.
Right, how the hell do I?
We can do part 3.
We've done a part 3.
Oh, okay.
That's the one you starred in. That's the one you starred in.
Oh, okay.
Oh.
God, you do that.
Oh, this is gorgeous.
Yeah. Well, I'm going to say goodbye, guys, because I've got to go to the ladies.
Okay, I need the loo, and I'm going to go to bed because it's probably